Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Swaytoven, and I'm gonna give you guys some sauce, if that's what you guys like to think of it as. Even though it's always been out there, you probably stumbled upon this. All right, that's how I found out about it back in 2022 when I first started making music, but I didn't know how to put it into words until now. And it's something that's damn near magic when adding it to your beats, right? Your melodies. It's almost like MSG. You can't get enough of it, and it's multi-band compression. But alongside that, it's also saturation, right? But I really like adding that to melodies. But also, I like to add it to the sounds that I make. It's because it just brings out like things in your sound frequencies, basically, that you probably couldn't hear, all right? And it just makes everything so much more clear in a way when you get the right settings that it's one of the most satisfying things that like it's just that's how I know that I made a really cool sound is that when I apply a multi-band compressor and to it and it just sounds amazing. But saturation adds harmonics, right, which can like be emphasized in multi-band compression. Now if you don't know what uh, harmonics are, you pretty much do. You've seen them a lot. It's pretty much this right here, right? I mean, all these peaks and stuff like that might as well be the harmonics. That's how you have to take it as, okay? Um, Even though there's all the frequencies, let's say I took like this frequent, like this fundamental note. Okay, let's say this was the main note for this sound, which is not. Let's say there was a harmonic right here. Okay, that'd be like a harmonic or something like that. Don't think too far into it. Just don't think too far into it. A saturator adds harmonics. Um, that may make your sound crazy, really good. And we can probably even understand that further if we kind of look at this one plugin that you might have been seeing around recently, Sky Keys. It even has a built-in saturator. All right. And as you can see, it's a lit symbol because saturation is actually lit. But too much saturation can actually burn your shit down. It's because you can add too many harmonics within these frequency ranges that can clash with each other. And you might just have to mix it a little bit more because saturation, distorts it, adds a little warmth, a little bit of color and all that sort of stuff. But that's what makes it awesome. All right, so alongside what saturation does and multi-band compression emphasizing that stuff, it's just it's a crazy sound. Like it's like you just have to do it. Basically, is what I'm telling you. Um, I like to make my stuff from scratch for it when it comes to the sounds because I'm not paying for no one else's sounds at this point. I paid for Analog Lab. I paid for Pigments like a couple months ago. I forgot when I did it. But if I were to recommend one of these things to you because it's Black Friday, just get Pigments instead of Analog. Even though Analog already has sounds in it, I don't know what to tell you. All right. I just highly believe, because I do know what to tell you, is that if you do want to make the craziest melodies, right, that you ever could have possibly imagined, right, it starts with you making your sound. Because at the end of the day, right, I believe that a lot of the creative aspect is being destroyed by like your intuition, your creativity and imagination could quite possibly be being destroyed by the fact that you can just artificially create it, right? Melodies, chords, all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Because if people are already just using other people's loops and samples to begin with, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? But there's still creative aspects to that. But sound, even though you can artificially create sound, I still think exploring the soundscape is like the last thing you can do on your own. Take that path alone to find that sound that is yours. You know what I'm saying? But what do I know? But check this sound out, right? This sound alone without and with multi-band compression, all right? So we're going to play it without. Now, you still quite hear everything, so it's not like it disappeared. But with multi-band compression, yes, it turns a lot of things up. So that's what you're going to hear right now. Now, the thing is, it's just like, that's not as impressive as multi-band compression can be, okay? Uh, there was a few times where I've added it to sounds where it was actually magical because it just brought out something that was crazy that I couldn't hear. This is not one of those sounds, to be honest, but I did make it earlier This might be it right here. I'm not too sure. Alright, I don't know why the pitch is changing like that. We're gonna just. That's kind of the sound, but it sounds different right now, to be honest. Because I think the notes are too short, so you can't hear the full potential of the sound. But if you can listen closely to the higher frequencies, maybe you can, like. I don't know. Alright, so listen, check this out. I'm gonna play a lower note within the sound, and while it's playing, I just want you to hear that twinkle in the high end, okay? It doesn't sound like a twinkle, for real. But with the added like modulation and effects that I had in the other beat that I made, it sounded like a twinkle. Alright, it really just sounds like a fucking sine wave now. But okay. But that's what I'm saying. The multi-band compression in this thing, you wouldn't be able to hear that. You wouldn't be able to hear that without this being all upwards, by the way. And you know, hopefully you guys just kind of understand what I'm putting down, bro, because it's just like multi-band compression, saturation, right? So I didn't show any really type of saturation. It's actually already kind of been playing because it's added to this. And you know, you kind of want it to be subtle though. You know, you don't want too much. Like I said, it'll start clashing things. So what I like to do is I like to put the saturator on one channel and route what I want saturated to that channel, right? Or route what I want multi-band compressed to that channel, right? Instead of really individually adding a saturator and a multi-band compressor on every single track, because that'll take up a lot of like the processing power. And also, like, it does depend too, because if it's just like a harp and like a guitar like I have, I'll just do some simple stuff. But if it's a sound that I made, I'm probably gonna do like a little bit more. But you know, I don't want to double saturate things. It's like I don't want to double stereo image stuff, to be honest. So it's just like, as you see here, I have a stereo imager for the sound that I made. You know, if I want to change that to widen the whole image for the harp and the guitar, I just add it to the track that they're all routed to. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But I like at the end of the day, you just have to be able to play with the multi-band compression and saturation. Like quite actually, like there's a point to where you get to your master, and I'm pretty sure you could even like add multi-band compressor to even glue everything together to make it seem like it's when I do it all the time. So everything seems like it's in the same place. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's real simple, right? If you just do it when you're making your trap beats or something like that, you know, you just have to add it, in my opinion. But yeah. sounds trash.